Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Geedunk. Today we're talking Cobra Kai.
That's right, everybody. The boys are back. We're going to see some Miyagi-Do karate kicking the competition. Stick around, 'cause we're about to find out.
All right, guys, it's been a bit since our last review, but we were kind of snowed in here and even lost power. But we're back, and it's karate time.
That's right, baby. We are back with the Cobra Kai. I know we were excited about this. Been loving this show. You know, I mean, who doesn't love some good old nostalgia, man, for some Karate Kid? And season 4 didn't disappoint, man. Didn't disappoint. And we, hey, let's get into it, man. So we had,
well, let's talk about the old past season since we haven't discussed that before. What do you think about Cobra Kai 1 through 3?
Love it, man. Absolutely love it. Of course, there's number one, just I love the political incorrectness in the show with Gianni. You know, they kind of keep it 80s-ish with him. You know, as if he never grew out of the 80s. You know, I can love that. Of course, you got more proper Daniel LaRusso, who did grow up, right? Got the wife and kids going on. Got the auto dealership. And so he is more on the, prim and proper
Johnny's
kind of level now.
Just amazing. In
phenomenal,
series,
dude. You know? Billy Zabka is freaking just outstanding, dude. Freaking love that dude, man. He's by far my favorite character in this show. I mean, has been from the get-go. Freaking love that dude.
You're right. I love the nostalgia in this, and it kind of feels like it's in the 80s, even though it's not. Yeah. But, all the callbacks to the movies, music, and all that stuff is just awesome.
Oh, yeah, especially all the flashback and the homages to Pat Morita, and Mr. Miyagi. That was phenomenal.
They bring, everybody back
seasons.
in this eventually, it seems like.
Yeah, you got Danny's mom back. You got family members that we never saw, right? He's got his cousin in this, and a male cousin and female cousin that comes into it. And you got, of course, there's a lot of homage to Pat Morita in this. You got the dude that played Billy Zabka's stepdad, showing up in this. And man, we had Elizabeth Shue come back last season, right?
That was awesome.
For a cameo, and the way they played that out was phenomenal, man. I loved it. So
I really enjoyed season 1, especially the All Valley tournament, where they kind of played on the first Karate Kid and spin it. And that's what I love about this. They kind of keep you guessing what's going on. The writing is so sharp and they're so in tune with the movies and stuff like that. It's just great. Well,
and the cool thing is, too, is they always kind of lead you toward a lesson, right? Each season kind of leads you toward a lesson. They're really, for the most part, there's no good guys or bad guys, right? I mean, they're really, until maybe this season you could say there is. But prior to that, a lot of it wasn't really good and bad. It was just people are people, and we've all got lessons to learn in life, and especially with these kids, trying to learn just the lessons from their senseis and kind of, teach them to be responsible adults at some point in their lives, right? So,
so I liked the first one, how it ended. I thought season 2 even upped it with that school fight scene where Miguel awesome. Gets kicked over the rail and breaks his back or whatever. Yep. That was awesome. Season 3 went down a couple notches for me. I didn't really appreciate the military kind of stuff, being veterans. It just wasn't well done, in my opinion.
Nah, well, I mean, it was not like this is a huge budget show where they're just going to throw all that stuff in there, it wasn't meant to be well done, I don't think, for the most part.
But it was little too cheesy for me.
But hey, man, still got Martin Kove doing some good old John Kreese, man, so at least we had that.
Yeah, and this one is kind of like the season of Terry Silver.
Oh, yeah, man.
So they had to up it, so they're introducing Terry Silver.
Thomas Ian Griffith, he's back. The bad boy karate, right?
Yep.
Yeah, man, at least he trained the bad boy karate, but I think he was a bad boy himself back in the day.
I think it's
definitely
smart
showed him as that.
To bring Terry Silver into the fold of this, especially with the way the last one left off, where now we got, Johnny and Danny teaming up. And so now Martin Kove, his Kreese, he needs to team up with somebody. So
right. See, of course, he's gonna rely on trusty old Silver, who I saved your life back in WWNAM, buddy. Don't you forget
that. Right. So there's so many people in this one. They bring back Stingray. They bring back Aisha and people like that who we didn't even see last season. So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that was Stingray. I love that dude, man. That guy he's one of those actors, man. The few shows I've seen him in, he's phenomenal. A great actor, man. I love the way the guy acts. Party time! And he just always plays kind of this lovable guy, They're like, man, you just can't help but like him, Can't help but like him.
I love season 2 where he was kind of trying to be a security guy for the school. He was kicking the Miyagi-Do kids and butt. Oh man, yeah, I enjoy seeing him. He wasn't that involved, but what little scenes he had, I thought.
And the stuff he was involved in this season is you can tell is going to lead to bigger, important things in the next season, right? So, especially with kind of the way it ended with him and what happens in this season. So, I think he's definitely playing more of a part in the next season. Probably see more of him next season. But his small role in it this season was very important.
Yeah, and this season doesn't feature Miguel as much as I thought it would. He kind of takes a little bit of a back seat.
That's because Miguel's getting fat, man.
It is kind of interesting to see these kids because they are kind of young, and then each season, there could be like a big difference.
And I'm just kidding. Miguel ain't getting fat, everybody, so don't hate on me here. But he's definitely getting a little. He's definitely getting a little overweight. He's got a little.
His hair's a lot different. If you go back and watch season 1, he looks a lot different, and a lot of them do. Robbie looks a lot different. Like he's putting on some muscle and stuff for this one.
Robbie is bulked up big time, but guess who hadn't look any different? Good old Hawk. Hawk's still that tall, skinny cut kid, man.
That's true. He doesn't see no change in Hawk,
man. But old
Anthony, the other LaRusso kid, changed dramatically.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because he kind of reminds me of the young Anthony from The Sopranos. It's kind of the way they kind of portray him in this show. I think just kind of just this a butthole of a kid. Who just doesn't listen and is entitled and so he's one of those characters that you kind of hate on at first, but then it kind of grows on you a little bit. I think towards the end there this season. So I started to like him a little bit towards the end. I feel a little sorry for him. But
yeah, now this one, like a lot happened in the past 2 ones, and there doesn't seem to be much consequences for these kids for what goes on in this show.
Yeah, no, like nobody went to jail after breaking out. I mean, you got
Robbie
Tori
went to jail in the third one.
Right, yeah. Well, then you got Tori breaking out the freaking the brass knuckles with freaking razors on them, slicing people up. She didn't go to jail. So it's like. How I don't know how she avoided it. Evidently, the Russos didn't want to press charges, but I think something like that, it ain't up to them. Like the court, the state at that point would just be like,
there's probably enough evidence to not need, their testimony or whatever. But I don't know. I mean, that's starting to wear on me a little bit in this show, and the flip-flopping back and forth is starting to wear on me because it was kind of cool when Gianni was doing it, but now Kreese is doing it.
Right.
Terry Silver does it a little bit in this, and that's sometimes I just want my bad guys, my antagonists to be straight up bad.
Exactly. Well, and I don't like what they did with Silver in this one as far as, number one, so first of all, they portray Silver as dude did great for himself, right? He seems like he's a multi-millionaire, very wealthy guy. So whatever, he's got Ferraris and lives in this ginormous freaking house in the hills. And whatever he did in life, he did well. I didn't tell you what he does. He just says he's a businessman. But so he's very smart, business savvy kind of guy. So the way Kreese just talks him back into coming, hey man, we got some unfinished business to do. And finally he's like, all right, man, I'm in it. And it's like, what? It's like, and then it's funny. He even says, he's like, John, man, you don't realize how screwed up we were? He's like, hell, I got off on freaking terrorizing a teenager part of my life. It's about terrorizing Danny. And so just the way he came back into the fold here, I was like, I really wouldn't buy it too much. As far as the just the way they portrayed him immediately. But whatever, they got to get it back somehow.
He probably could have used Daniel against them, like, hey, that guy got like one up on you.
Right, yeah.
Play more into that a little bit. It was kind of a quick turnaround, but that one, it didn't bother me as much as I think it bothered you, but I see what you're saying there.
Well, what really bothered me with Silver is later on, when him and Kreese are talking. Of course, Kreese always throws the "Hey, I saved your life" and "Nam" thing in his face, right? And there becomes a point where Silver just becomes this wuss, man, like bowing down to Kreese, like, oh, I'm trying to be what you want me to be. I'm trying to be loyal, kind of like, and it's like, man, we never saw that side of Terry Silver, right? When he was freaking in Karate Kid 3, man, he was freaking, you didn't see none of that, man. He was just, badass Terry Silver, terrorizing the crap out of Daniel LaRusso, and there was no wuss side to that guy that they kind of show you in the show here. So that kind of threw me off a little bit, and I was like, I'm not sure how I feel about that. But, I
don't know if that was like part of his strategy or not.
No, I don't think it was originally, because I think what happened with Stingray, which is was just target of opportunity, right? He was trying to figure out, okay, what can I do? This opportunity came in front of him. He's like, okay, cool. I mean, it's not like he intended that to happen, right? Stingray just came in there, and without him noticing it, and then and this is going back to him going from a wuss, going back to trying to be in control again, right? So it's him. So like kind of like you were saying, how some of these characters kind of flip flop back and forth. I mean, definitely see a lot of that Silver in this.
Yeah, one. I was actually digging Silver where he was the more rational one, and then Kreese was kind of like the evil one, and then they flip flop, and I was kind of like, oh, I didn't really enjoy that aspect.
Right, exactly.
Because it's just kind of out of character at this point, I think, for Kreese to all of a sudden grow a conscience.
Yeah, especially since...
And then Silver goes off the deep end, even though he's being rational the rest of the time.
Right. I mean, because granted, in real life, Kove's in his 80s, right? But he, in the show, he's playing somebody who's probably supposed to be in his 60s. Him and Silver both. And, being that, we've never, ever seen a soft side of Kreese. And now, all of a sudden, like you said, to have him starting to, have this little soft side to him and stuff, it's like, nah, it just doesn't play right. This doesn't play right. I wasn't a fan of that either.
What did you think about Anthony's storyline in The New Kid as well? Yeah,
I mean... Like I said, Anthony, you kind of hate on the kid at first. Like, they make him just this little butthole, make him a bully, right? Because you wouldn't think any of the Russo kids would be bullies, but then they're making him a bully, picking on the new kid in school.
Yeah, Kenny.
Yep, Kenny. And
what'd you think about all that?
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of him, man. I wasn't a fan of the way they had him bully that kid and everything. But at the same time, it was good for character development for Kenny, right? Did they need to make the LaRusso kid
Do we really
bully?
care about Kenny?
Right. I really don't care about Kenny.
He's just like a little too young from the main cast, so I just found it kind of distracting, the Anthony LaRusso and the Kenny storyline personally.
No, I agree. I mean, I could have done without it, but if they're gonna have it in there, I get why they had LaRusso be the bully to help build Kenny's character for Cobra Kai and all that stuff. So
I think it also shows more flaws in Daniel too, that he is raising this kid who's a bully, who's kind of like stands against the things he believes in and stuff like that.
Well, and speaking of which, so that that all kind of ties into Danny and Zabka's, Johnny Lawrence's character development and their relationship, right? Like at first they're completely hating on each other and each other's styles, but as this show progresses, they're finally learning that there isn't just one way to train a kid or to raise a kid. There's you've got to work with the kid for what works with the kid, right? And, so when Danny and Gianni are going at it and they finally realize, all right, we're going to team up here and we're going to try to train our kids, in both styles, it started to work out. And then, of course, they went their separate ways. But during the course of them splitting, they both kind of learned something about themselves and about their kids, right? So, because Danny keeps having the same talk with Anthony and it ain't working, right? It ain't working on Anthony and Anthony's not listening. And finally, he goes Johnny Lawrence on Anthony. And then I put that kid in check, and then and then of course Danny's like, "Oh man, I just went Johnny on my kid, and it worked." He's like, "Wow." He's like, "All right."
Okay, it's not even an iPad. Okay, it barely has games. This is Dad, are you insane? You know what?
I think Mr. Miyagi would be rolling over in his grave if he saw what was going on here with Daniel, because this is all about self-defense and everything else, and now it's just like this gang versus this gang. Everyone's learning Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai and all these different styles, and it's like it's not even really about defense anymore or anything like that.
No, exactly.
Not about balance, defense, nothing.
Right.
So
that's like why, and that's why Miyagi wouldn't train Danny anymore to begin with, right? He said, "Look, he's like, you won. You stood up to your bullies. There's no need to prove yourself anymore, right?" So, but now, like I said, here's Daniel just want to start this whole dojo to destroy Cobra Kai, right? And like I said, Miyagi's not about that. He ain't about destroying other people. He's about just keeping the balance and having peace.
I think all these kids probably be better off without all this karate in their life.
Right, exactly.
At first it was kind of cool because they were like teaching like the nerdy kids and stuff like that stand up, but now it's just like a gang war essentially.
Oh yeah, right, exactly. From like threefold, So yeah, it's nuts, man. And then you got so what'd you think about kind of the way it played out towards the end here and kind of how they just opened it up for so many more story arcs with we're already in season 4.
Well, I thought it was interesting they bring back the All Valley Tournament, and I was like, how are they going to surprise me here? Yeah. And you essentially have 3 factions going into this thing: Cobra Kai, Eagle Fang, and then Miyagi-Do. Yeah. And so I was kind of interested to see how that played out. And as it was playing out, I didn't even really pick a favorite, which kind of surprised me.
I agree, man. Same here. I didn't either.
I'm like, am I rooting for Robbie, Miguel? I don't even know at this point.
Well, like I said, because this is one of the shows where they do a really good job of making the kids not really good guys or bad guys, right? The kids are just kids that are screwed up, and they're trying to look for their mentors to help guide them, and unfortunately their mentors this season are really screwing it up, all of them.
Yeah, and I liked what they did with Miguel, where he didn't even compete, because it's like you think he's going to come back at the last second, which happens in every movie, and he doesn't. Yeah, and so that was kind of like, okay, they're doing something a little bit different. Now I was kind of hoping a third faction would step in there, like maybe you see like a Jackie Chan faction or the Foot Clan comes up.
Yeah, maybe the Foot Clan come up in this bad boy.
Little Turtles crossover, have the Foot Clan come up here and just wipe the floor with everybody or something like that. But
that'd have been great, man.
I was waiting for something crazy like that.
And when they win the tournament, you have Shredder step out of the shadow. That'd been awesome. Yeah, man.
have Raiden
Hey, there you go. There you go, Netflix.
Have Raiden pop up and you're like, oh, I need you. Earth Realm depending on you guys or something. I don't know, but that was what's kind of cool. There's like a lot of blood sport references. So that'd be kind of cool if like Jean-Claude Van Damme showed up. I was like, are they teasing some Jean-Claude?
Yeah, Jean-Claude coming here. That'd be great, man. Yeah.
And they've kind of like tapped out and explored most of the Karate Kid world. So they might need to think about expanding outside that closed-in universe and like having a Jean-Claude Van Damme, a Jackie Chan, or somebody else come in.
Right.
And I think that'd be cool.
Well, and then like I said, the other thing I'm kind of worried about here is, the way this story at the end just arcs big time. So, the way it ends is, like you said, Miguel doesn't show up, right? Because he's hurt and he's like, funny thing about that.
His heart's not really in this.
And his heart's not in it, right? He's like, I just realized I'm not fighting for me anymore. Right, well, the funny thing is, though, what I will say, so that scene where Miguel hurts his back in the fight and you hear that crack, right? Like, it's like, it makes you think his back broke again. And then it's like, oh, nah, it's just a pulled muscle. It's like, I don't think a pulled muscle makes a crack sound like that. So.
Probably not, but I could see, like, if you do pull a muscle or something like...
Oh, it's going to hurt, yeah. But then you'd be like...
Yeah, it did make like he was in like a grinder sound or something like that. But and Robbie, man, he was like on like a search and destroy mission, like kind of before that.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, he was.
And then Hawk says he's going to win the whole thing, and he wasn't lying.
Yeah, that's right, man. Hawk came out and just kicked Robbie's butt there, man.
So it's kind of nice to see Hawk get some love in this.
It was. Well, and it's good to see Hawk finally grow a little bit. Because Johnny turned him into this almost his asshole, right? For the most part, I mean, he made him he gave him too much confidence, right? And just made him, to where he turned into kind of a bully. Well, during the course of the show, he gets, he gets bullied up himself again, as he did before. And it brings him down a notch and makes him realize, oh, crap, I really was a jerk here.
My boy loses his mohawk. He loses his mojo. Hawk, man. He's like, I don't even want to do this without that.
He goes back to be, no. But he does have the tat, though, man. And they showcase that. Remember, he's like, and you hear it go, caw, the hawk screech, I guess.
But, I'm wondering just how many times they're going to do this routine. I think it is starting to get a little old, and they really need something fresh. So where do you think they're going to take it after this? Yeah, everyone's speculating Mike Barnes is going to be back, and it seems like that's probably going to be the case.
Right, the bad boy karate. Mm-hmm. But see, what the thing is, like I said, the way this story's arcing out now. So Miguel and Johnny had a heartfelt thing, and Johnny's mom and Johnny's mom, Miguel's mom and Johnny finally came out and told Miguel, hey, we're dating. So Miguel and Johnny are trying to connect, and Johnny gets drunk one night. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm just, I'm trying to be a good father to you. And Miguel's like, yeah, I love you. He's like, oh, I love you too, Robbie. So Miguel was kind of... Jack that up, right? And then, of course, he had a little conversation about Miguel, like, hey, I was never brave enough to go searching for my dad. My dad left me, I was never brave enough. And now Miguel's like, you know what, I'm going to go look for my dad, right? So it leaves us on a cliffhanger with Miguel on a bus heading to Mexico to go look for his dad, right? And then Miguel's mom's crying, saying, Johnny, please go after him. So now Johnny's like, hey, I'm going to bring him home. So now Johnny's going to go. So you got that story arc. So now, like, what, the whole next season is Johnny and Miguel?
Yeah, that seems kind of like a little weird thing, like a little Mexico kind of detour. I don't know.
Yeah. So
and then who's his mystery dad going to be? He's going to know karate and do something too, or what?
Well, and it makes him sound like he's a really bad dude. Like maybe he's a narco trafficker or something,
that's what you think.
Yeah. So, you're going to have that arc going on, right? And then, of course, you got with... the karate tournament, the negotiation they made with Cobra Kai, like, hey, if we win, you guys shut down. If you win, we shut down. Well, Cobra Kai won.
Well, Terry Silver did cheat, though, so maybe they get word on that. I don't know. And then that changes some things.
Well, then Johnny brings in old, or Daniel at the end brings in old Chosen, right? So now you got Chosen coming from Japan to help Daniel out. You still got Cobra Kai going. Then you got the other arc, of not only, of Silver cheating. Oh, and by the way, you got Kreese going to jail now because Silver set him up for beating the crap out of, for putting Stingray in almost a coma. Almost killing the guy.
Yeah. And so this next season, if they do introduce Mike Barnes, that'll kind of be like everything in the Karate Kid universe, unless they bring like Hilary Swank into this thing or something like that. No. And I didn't really see that one, so I don't know too much about that. But
I saw it. It was not anywhere near as good as.
At least Mr. Miyagi's in it, right? So
yeah, no Pam Reeves.
But I don't know if they'll bring her into the fold or not.
I don't see that happening.
But outside Mike Barnes and her, they pretty much have wrapped up the Karate Kid universe.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm kind of looking forward to. I wouldn't mind seeing Mike Barnes come back.
Yeah,
but I want to see if they can take it somewhere new. And also, these kids are getting old. They were like 17 in this one, so next season they'll be kind of adults. So what are you doing with that? Yeah. How's that gonna mess with the dynamics?
What if they make Mike Barnes Miguel's dad?
Yeah, I don't think that would fit very well, but That'd be a little too goofy for me.
They're going to Mexico to hunt down Miguel's dad, and it turns out it's Mike Barnes, right? And he's running some drug some drug lord in Mexico.
I hope they don't do something like that. I'm a little worried about this Mexico storyline to begin with. Yeah, because it just seems kind of like outside the Cobra Kai.
Well, and that's it, right? Like I said, I mean, we're going into a 5th season. And then you're opening up so many multiple story arcs now. Like it's almost like too late in the show to start opening up so many more story arcs. I would think, right? I mean, to me, I'd be thinking of a way to start really wrapping up the show. To be quite honest, like you said, they pretty much played out the Karate Kid universe here. And they did a good job of it.
I think they have room for at least one more season, unless they get very creative. But like I said, I think the problem is the kids are getting old now, and it's like, what do you do? And I kind of really don't hope they go on to like Anthony and Kenny and kind of like get rid of them and bring in newer kids or something. I don't think I want to go.
I don't want to see that. I honestly don't think anybody else wants to see that either. I mean, I think you got the nail on the head there. Nobody wants to see that. We all, we're all happy with what we got right now. The Anthony Kenny storyline was just kind of annoying, and didn't need to be in there. I mean, it was okay for what it was as far as Kenny's part in it with Cobra Kai and everything, but could have done without it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this has legs too much, even though I love it. I think 1-2 more seasons tops. And then maybe like a long break, and then maybe you can bring back Robbie and Miguel, 10 years from now and do something more with them like what they've done with Johnny.
That might be
character.
Cool. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, that'd be cool to see something like that, 10 years from now when we're much older. I don't even want to think about that.
So how do you compare this season to the past ones?
So, of course, like we said, the first season were phenomenal. Once they brought Kreese into the fold and everything, it went downhill a little bit, but it was still good. I just think with this, I mean, this season was good. I do like I said, I love what they've done with this one as far as just the lesson learning you learn and the life lessons these kids are learning in this season, right? And about how there is no one right way to do things. Everybody's got their own way to do it. And you know what? And you should take things you learn from multiple aspects of your life to grow yourself, right? So they really teach that out throughout this season, and I enjoyed seeing that, because I mean that's how you should live your life. You can live your life on one style, right? You're gonna take everything you've learned and through your life experience and kind of incorporate the good out of it and grow yourself out of it, and that's how life's meant to be lived. So I like how they incorporated that in here, so I mean I enjoyed it. Did I like it as much as the first 2 seasons? No. Did I like it better than last season? Yes. So it was good, man. It was good.
Yeah, I don't think I can add too much more than that. I think you're right on that. The last season was the worst, and this one's slightly below the first 2, but I enjoyed the whole series.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
all right, man.
You got anything else?
I think that's it. I mean, typically
we're gonna get the Foot Clan in this eventually, or what?
That's what I like to see. Give me some Foot Clan. Give me a little bit of Shredder action going on in here. Have him step in, and and maybe yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe I'll put it. Maybe
they need to bring John Claude into the fold or something like that.
If they had John Claude do a cameo, man, that would be phenomenal.
That would have been.
That would be cool. So maybe maybe he will, man. I don't see why he wouldn't. But they've talked about him enough in this one, right? So it'd be great, to see.
I mean, they're watching Bloodsport, and they seem to be digging it.
Oh yeah, man.
Some Rocky 3 references, Top Gun.
Oh yeah, dude.
Apparently, Johnny has a problem with Maverick, getting his wingman killed.
He wasn't even the cool one, man. He's like Iceman. That was the guy.
He didn't even rate a spot at Miramar. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, man. Oh, I love Johnny, man. Like I said again, dude, he's by far my favorite character, man. I freaking love that guy. But yeah, all right, everybody.
Yeah, it's hard to hate on Johnny, but he screws up so much at the same time.
Oh, he does, man.
He's not really he means well, but he's not really a good person.
Right. And of course, all his political incorrectness and everything is just great. It's a breath of fresh air. Especially
he really does make the show,
especially in today's TV. Yeah, I mean he totally makes the show. But yeah, I mean typically we rate stuff. I mean I don't think we really need to give this on a number. We don't need to rate it. Just check it out.
I mean in general, I like this series. The whole series to me is like a 9, and
yeah, absolutely,
it doesn't really stray too far from that.
No, I mean this series has never let us down yet, and it still hasn't. Like I said, I'm a little worried about the next season because I don't know where they're going to go with this whole Mexico thing. But hey, who knows, man? Maybe Miguel and Johnny get down there, have some tequilas together, and
who knows?
See what happens. But hey, everybody, that is our discussion on Cobra Kai. We loved it. Check it out. Let us know what you think, and hey, let us know where you think the show's going because, like I said, I'm not sure at this point that they're really trying to, that it's going to go in the best direction. I think maybe they didn't need to arc it out so much at the end of this one. But hey, please let us know your thoughts on this. If you like our channel, hit like and subscribe, and we will check you guys at our next review.
See you guys. Oh, I forgot to mention the huzzah stuff. Every time Terry Silver does, he's like huzzah, like he's like a magician or something like that. You notice that?
Yeah.
And then Kreese, his little saying is like ice.
Yeah. But I don't think Daniel definitely.
I think he goes yeah. Like when he's doing the kicks.
You mean when he's getting his butt kicked by Silver?
He owes him.
Look at the car go!
Man, I thought Robbie was going like Liu Kang there or Ken from Street Fighter there for a second.
Oh yeah, man.
Because he had the red going and he did the little like spinny kick thing.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Silver to like do a magic trick or something. He's like, huzzah! Like, what's this guy doing, man?
You pull like the Ferrari keys out of his butt or something.
Like Robbie like styling his hair a little bit better. Miguel's like, I'm gonna introduce a second chin. What's up?
That's right. You like this?
Yeah, I mean he was like super skinny like in the first season.
Yeah, man.
So I don't know.
Introducing his sick. Doesn't be in the credits. And introducing Miguel's second chin.
Yeah, I like my girl Tori too.
Oh yeah. What's not to like about Tori?
She's a raging bitch.
It's crazy, yeah, it's crazy, but yeah.
Daniel's like putting the headband on Miguel, man.
Yeah, it was messed up. Messed up, right? Like if I was Gianni, I'd have been like, what? Just like
Johnny he was, but
I happened the same way. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here?
He tries to steal like everyone's like favorite and turns him. He's like, I did it to Rob, did it to your son. Now I'm doing it to your fake son.
There you go.
Maybe Daniel's the real villain in all this.
Yeah, maybe. It's gonna play out that way.
Yeah.
Competition.
Kick the competition.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think what I meant to say was quiet!